Greetings, friends, and welcome back to the Small Brain Podcast. Once again, the most horribly racist travel podcast on the entire internet. So if you enjoy racist ramblings and pitting every nation in the world against each other, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Go over on Spotify, leave us a review. Today we have something very exciting. I'm going to be ranting and throwing shade and slinging mud at my own country, the United States of America. We did a podcast a few weeks ago about things I miss when I'm traveling, things I love about this country. And I thought we'd balance the scales, okay? We're moderates over here at Small Brain America, and we like to play both fields, except for in our sexuality. We like to sample every culture, and we're able to see the pros and cons in every culture. That makes us sound enlightened, doesn't it? We're not enlightened. We're the farthest thing from enlightened, but I try my best to be objective in every country I go to. I don't know what you're thinking. Oh, you hate India. You're against India. Well, I was objective for a time. I took in all the information I needed, and then I formed an opinion. And that's how you're supposed to live your lives, guys. You're not supposed to be in this wanderlust. Wow, what's reality? What's good? What's bad? I have no idea. I'm just 19 years old, French girl getting fucked by, Arabian guys in a hostel in Bangladesh. No, that's not how we want to be. We want to form concrete opinions about the world, okay? And since I've lived in America for basically my entire life, save a few months here and there, I feel like I have some very strong opinions, okay? And I know you might think of me as like the, India hater guy, but, maybe this one goes out to all the Indians that are like, oh, your country dirty, oh, San Francisco, needles, fentanyl. Yeah, I know, you're not wrong. Two places can be bad, okay? And that's what we're gonna go into today. All right, I'm gonna bitch about my own country, even though it is the greatest country on the planet, and even though I have the greatest job on the planet, being a YouTuber, I fully understand my position in life. I'm very lucky to have the job that I have, and I don't want this to sound like I'm ungrateful for anything. I would like to just explore some ideas with you guys, all right? That's what podcasting's all about. And I am a white male, and it's my God-given right to be a podcaster, so we're going to get into it, all right? Number one on my biggest problems with America list is there are no set rules. There is no universal understanding in this country of what is a social faux pas, what is not a social faux pas, what is allowed, what is not allowed. When can we talk on speakerphone? When can we not talk on speakerphone? When is jaywalking prohibited? And when is it okay to do? Is it okay to drink in public? Is it okay to not drink in public? There's just too much ambiguity for all my retards. That means, it's unclear in this country. First of all, we have 50 states. That, federalism is we have a federal government, we have a, national government that makes the big boy rules, and then we have the states, and they kind of leave up a lot of things to the states, right? So first of all, it's already written into our laws that there are going to be major differences in this country. I mean, weed was legalized in California in the 90s, medical weed. I mean, that's crazy. It was still federally illegal. I don't have to explain this to you guys. I'm sure a lot of you guys are already Americans. But the point I'm trying to make is it's kind of the Wild West all over the country. It's kind of make your own rules depending on the state. And not even just that. Within the state, you have little amalgamations of different cultures, right? In Los Angeles County alone, there's the Korean neighborhood, there's Chinatown, Vietnamese, Cambodian, obviously Mexicans, tons of Mexicans, Venezuelans, and depending on those neighborhoods, there are different sets of rules and norms, and it's too much, man. It's too much to fully ever understand what's going on. It's like, how do I behave? I don't know. It really depends on where you are. You know what I mean? Like, for example, even in Metro Atlanta, you'll go to a grocery store and there'll be like a Vietnamese woman on the phone, on speakerphone, or like a Filipino woman on speakerphone. You know what I mean? This is the one that really drives me crazy. Is like, I don't really care where you're from. I really don't. I embrace multiculturalism. I think it's exciting. It makes it an exciting place to live. New York City is one of the most exciting places, diverse places on the planet. But I just feel like we need a certain base level of understanding of like what's annoying and what's not annoying. At the very least, can we please agree on speakerphone? This is one that drives me insane. Like, first of all, I don't actually even understand the strategic advantage of talking on speakerphone. Like, do you have $5 to purchase a pair of headphones? Yes or no? Yes or no? That's really what it comes down to. Because it's just a courtesy thing, in my opinion. Like, how hard is it to buy a pair of headphones and just plug them in or connect them with Bluetooth, whatever it is? Everybody has headphones. Everybody has headphones. And maybe if you're above the age of 60, maybe you get a pass. I don't know. Maybe you have a hearing disability. Like, you need to like hold the phone up while it's on speakerphone up to your eardrum so it can register. I think that's the only kind of defensible case for speakerphone, because other than that, I guess you could like hold it in the shopping cart and then you're just talking and shouting into the phone and then it's like blaring for everyone to hear. I guess that's a good hands-free option. But also, so are headphones. Like, how hard is that? Like, it takes 2% extra effort to just not be an asshole, to just not be annoying. And I feel like people that are talking on speakerphone aren't intentionally being annoying. They just don't know. Like, this is what I mean. We don't have a set of like societal norms like this. You know, the Constitution's one thing, freedom of speech, expression, all that stuff's kind of baked into the culture already. But the small stuff, the founding fathers left it out, man. They did not have smartphones. There was no Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 7 in fucking 86 or whatever the hell. I don't know. I can't remember. But you got my point. It's just, it's little things like that where I'm like, can we please agree on something? And, you know, I'm not xenophobic because I don't know. I had some girl in my DMs fucking calling me all kinds of names because I made a rant on my Instagram story about this. And she's like, well, you need to accept people from, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, if I go to their country, I'm sure as hell following their rules. When I go to Japan, I never, ever talk on phone in public, ever. It's rude to sneeze in public in Japan. You think you can be talking on the phone, but that same person, that same exact person that lectured me about being in my country and you know, someone not following the rules is the exact same kind of person that would go to Japan or Europe and be like, guys, we need to embrace their culture. We need to blah, blah, blah. We need to blend in. It's like, are you hearing yourself? Are you hearing yourself? Because you're currently admitting that there are rules to each culture, right? But I mean, maybe she's not wrong. Maybe we don't have the fucking rule here, and I guess that's what I'm getting at. Is like, it's just so unclear. But is it really unclear? I don't know. I'm trying to think this out loud with you guys live. I'm doing it live, guys. Is it really? I don't know. I think there are rules. I think there are rules in this culture. I think people are just too afraid of confronting people about it. That's what it is. It's just white people are too polite. Like, I was in the gym the other day, and these two Dominican guys were like screaming at each other, like straight up screaming in the gym, like chest bumping, high-fiving, shouting, bro. They're playing their music on their phone. It was a whole scene. It made everybody in this corner uncomfortable. But we're all just little polite white people. We don't want to fucking ruffle any feathers or seem racist. But it's like, come on, guys. Like, welcome to America. It's cool. Happy to have you. But please, can you not do that? Like, I'm not going to call ICE on you, but maybe I should.
We're getting them out of the country, and they're going to be gotten out of the country fast.
You know, maybe I should if you're fucking chest bumping and just completely blatantly ignoring the behavior of everybody else. This is the great part about America, and it's also what is probably going to be the downfall of America, is the individualism. That's why these Dominican guys can come here and feel comfortable being themselves, feel comfortable expressing themselves and their individuality and their culture, right? That's okay. But also, it's going to be the downfall of this country because everyone is siloed into their own system of beliefs. There's too many individuals, you know? I don't want to get political, but like COVID was a prime example. Like, everybody in the country was doing their own thing. It's like, well, I'm going to listen to this podcaster and tell me, you know, if I should take the vaccine or not, or I'm just going to watch CNN and I'm not going to listen to anybody else. and you had this like crumbling of society like happening before our very eyes. Like everybody was just choosing their own path. And again, that's what makes America great, right? Is like you can be yourself. That's why people come here from all over the world. That's why the Irish came here. That's why the Italians came here. That's why the Jews came here. That's why the English came here. That's why Latinos come here. That's why everybody wants to come to America. That's why all the Vietnamese people live here. I get it. I mean, it's a very appealing place to live, especially if you're fleeing, communist, socialist dictatorships, the oppressive kind of governments. You want to come here and be free. I get it. I love it, man. Honestly, the reason I think I've found success is because I grew up in America. I share the values of like expression, speaking your mind, not being afraid to speak your truth, That's just a societal norm. And I feel like it doesn't exist as much in Western Europe or really anywhere else in the world. Like America we were the craziest people in Europe. We were the religious fundamentalists that were like, nah, like we can't be insane enough in Europe. We have to go to this new place and be insane over there, And again, it's written into our Constitution, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of expression, freedom of religion. It's like it lets you be yourself, right? And it's hard to separate the good from the bad with that, right? Like I mentioned this in my 10 Things I Hate About Japan podcast, is that oftentimes the best part about a place is also the worst, right? Because you have such insane benefits, you're also going to have insane, costs, right? And obviously very individualistic culture, but also too individualistic. You know what I mean? And it's not like I'm trying to rewrite the Constitution. It's not like I'm trying to fucking run for office or anything, but I've just noticed that there's little to no social fabric that people can cohere to outside of the Constitution, right? And like, I always think my idea of an American is somebody that believes in the Constitution. They believe in freedoms. They believe in, the right to vote and, expression and liberty, these kind of like big ideas. I think that's what it means to be American. So in my opinion, if you come over to America and you don't want people to be free, if like your religion is oppressive or, you don't like treat women well, like I don't actually think you're American. If you don't believe in the tenets, the pillars of the Constitution, of this kind of Western liberal ideology, I don't think you're American. I really don't. Like, and I don't view you as an American. I view you as a visitor. You know what I mean? So that means that like if you come from anywhere around the world, you can be American as long as you share these values. So again, it's this fucking speakerphone, man. I go on this fucking, epic tangent about the government, and then it just comes back to speakerphone. It's like, this is how everyday life, this is how, the problems in our country are being borne out is with speakerphone. It's like, who's talking on speakerphone, and who's not. I feel like personally, people that talk on speakerphone in public should be executed. I feel like they're giving up their right to live by talking on speakerphone in public. How hard is it to get headphones? Okay, we'll just leave it at that. Another thing I really don't like about America is how hard it is to be a pedestrian. And I know all the Europeans are going to flood my comments and say, oh, Connor, we told you so. We told you it was hard to be a pedestrian. Oh, guns, healthcare. Oh, la, 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 la. Oh, you Americans, why you tipping? We do not tip in France. Oh, you just livable wage, socialism, livable wage. Oh, shut the fuck up, Frenchie, okay? This is not for you. This is between the Americans, all right? We're trying to fix it, all right? I'm trying to raise the collective consciousness of my American comrades, okay? So stay the fuck out of it. We're not asking for your opinion, okay? Okay? All right. Anyways, Americans, this one's at you. Why is it that our towns and cities are built around cars? Every city in this country, except for parts of Seattle, New York City, obviously is very walkable. I don't know. I don't know enough cities to really say. Miami's not walkable. Atlanta's not walkable. Neighborhoods in Nashville are walkable, but do you really want to live in Nashville? Austin is sure as shit not walkable. Austin is a car hellscape. Every day is 100 degrees and humid. Buddy of mine lives there. Egan Robinson, stand-up comic in Austin, told me that it was over 100 degrees for 80 days out of the year. Why anyone with 9 or more brain cells would choose to live in a literal boiling hellscape like that, I have no idea. I don't understand it. I'm judging all of them. Austin's not walkable. I don't fucking know. I literally can only think of 2 American cities that are walkable, Seattle and New York. That's it. I mean, maybe there's like 2 or 3 more, maybe, but I'm trying to think in, I don't know, Columbus, Ohio, I guess. But I just have so many stories about trying to be a pedestrian in this country, and it is damn near impossible, right? Even if it's walkable, you're going to face crazy amounts of traffic right next to you. There's no like walking trail barrier, right? Even if there's like a big sidewalk on a bridge in DC, it's like traffic's flying by you at 45, 50 miles an hour. There's no partition. It's not a place to be a pedestrian, man. It's just simply not. And I know the Europeans are slam dunking me in the comments right now. I can see it right now. But I mean, they're right. I hate to admit it, but they're fucking right. Our cities are miserable to be pedestrians in. We were in Austin. They're like, oh yeah, it's walkable. You can walk to the park. We're like, all right, let's test that. We leave. We were like touring this apartment. Walk out the front door, cross a 5-lane highway. There's like semi trucks flying by. No pedestrians. We walk all the way to the park. To be fair, it's through a neighborhood. It was a little quieter. No sidewalk. You're going around blind curves. No sidewalk. No guardrail. Nothing. Just our fleshy bodies walking, a mile and a half in the boiling heat. Austin's not walkable. It's simply not. And even the parts that are walkable, you don't want to walk because there's homeless guys barking at you like animals. There's guys shirtless, like homeless, like cut homeless. You know what I mean? Like doing meth, hasn't eaten in like 6 weeks homeless or 6 weeks ripped. But he's like fucking shadow boxing. You know what I mean? That's not walkable, guys. That's not walkable. I mean, I guess physically you can walk. You can put one foot in front of the other. Technically, you're right. Yeah, a lawyer, that would stand up in court. Yeah, but do you want to walk there? Do you want to walk in the 100-degree heat? Do you want to walk past bum fights? Do you want to walk on, blind drives with no sidewalk? Do you want to walk in a place with no crosswalks? I don't think you do. In Seattle, in defense of Seattle, there's a lot wrong with them, but the city is quite walkable, and it's really nice to ride a bike in. They have these like long bike lanes. They have like pedestrian bridges. Guys, we love a pedestrian bridge. If Japan taught me anything, it's that you don't need to feel like a criminal for wanting to walk to work or, to the coffee shop. That's actually a very pleasant way to live. It's just like walking out your front door, walking safely there, getting some steps in, getting some sunshine, getting some fresh air. I don't want to have to jump in my car and pay for gas and find parking and, turn on my left signal and try to fucking merge in traffic. I just don't want to do that every day. I don't want to have to do that. And I think it's a really sad feature of our country that most cities are not walkable. Even the places that are walkable, in air quotes. Dayton, Ohio. Downtown Dayton, Ohio, guys. They said it was walkable. I found myself walking from a McDonald's with a police like tower there with like this big pole with like a blue siren light on it, with like a little solar panel underneath, I guess to indicate that like the police are watching. I don't know. I think it was like more symbolic than anything. It was like, watch out, criminals, we're watching. But this thing is busted up. People have thrown beer bottles at it. There's broken glass everywhere. I'm standing in the McDonald's. There's a homeless guy sleeping on the bench. By the way, the homeless guy sleeping on the bench was the least of our problems. He was asleep. He was fine. There was some guy begging in the drive-thru to all the customers. So we're like, fuck that. We're going to go inside. We go inside. Homeless guy's in there. It's all good. Whatever. We don't mind him. The cops get called on the homeless guy outside. The cops come in. The McDonald's employee is like this ghetto-ass white lady with like pink hair and like star tattoos on her neck. She starts shouting at the officer like, well, how come y'all asses didn't get here for 30 minutes? She's like lecturing the cop who showed up. She's lecturing the guy that showed up to protect her ass for not being there faster. Or, sorry, his colleagues that got called like weeks earlier hadn't shown up faster, but he showed up in 15 minutes. But she decides to lecture this guy. I don't know. It's just a shit show. So we leave the McDonald's with our McGriddles in hand. We start walking down the street. I was trying to show my friend Daisuke something, in Dayton. He's the guy I worked for in the ramen shop in Tokyo a couple years ago. What no one tells you about Japan is the video. Anyways, we're walking to this like park. Daisuke's like, oh, we'll just walk around. Being the pure, innocent Japanese soul that he is, he doesn't know that he's walking around in a crumbling empire currently. Literally, the sidewalks are falling apart. We walk under a bridge. There's needles. There's beer bottles. There's fucking, cigarettes ashed everywhere, strewn all about under the bridge. It smells like piss. It smells like booze. He's with his wife, too, Yuka. Poor, innocent little creature. Poor little souls. I don't know why they wanted to be pedestrian. I should have warned them, honestly. I should have warned them. I should have known. But we get to this park. A guy's getting his dick sucked in the park. I'm not joking. None of this is made up. This is all 100% factual. I look over. He's kind of looking back at me. There's a girl on her knees, like moving like this. They don't stop, by the way. They don't stop. I guess we were far enough away that he's like, yeah, baby, just keep sucking. There's a homeless guy arguing with another homeless guy. Apparently, he had been ripped off for $5. He wanted his money. I don't know, man. It's just pure fucking chaos. And this is a, kind of a bigger societal issue is like, what the fuck is going on with our cities? Like, it's embarrassing, dude. You go to a city in Europe, London is one thing. London is, there's bad parts of London, but even the worst part of London, I don't think holds a candle to the worst part of Atlanta. I mean, America is like notoriously like the most dangerous developed country in the world. I think that's a true stat. I think so. But even if it's not, like it resonates with you, right? Like I couldn't think of another developed country that is as dangerous. There's no country in Asia other than, I guess, fucking Palestine that's as dangerous as America. I don't know if you'd count parts of Latin America. I don't think you would. I don't think you'd count Mexico. Yeah, honestly, if we're comparing America to Europe, it is the most dangerous country. It just is, And again, I don't want to get political. I don't want to like fly too close to the sun. But we just have a lot of violence in this country, man, and it's embarrassing. And I feel like both sides of the aisle can probably agree on that, right? Like, you can't really dispute that. You know what I mean? I mean, there's a reason. I mean, they're fucking pussies and they're afraid and they're spineless. But like anytime a European comes to America, they're like, should I bring my bulletproof vest? Shall I bring my bulletproof vest? I saw a guy on Reddit post that bullshit. I don't know if he was trolling, but he's like, it's my first time going to America. Should I bring a bulletproof vest? I'm really afraid. And I was like, is this satire? Because if it is, it's perfect. And if it's not, you're fucking retarded. But there's a reason we have the reputation we do, man. There's mass shootings all the time. And besides that, I mean, I know that's rare, but besides that, like, just everyday commonplace violence, man. We were driving down 6th Street in Austin. We saw a bum just fucking right hook this guy in the face right near a cop. The cop did nothing. The cop did less than nothing. He was just sitting there talking with another cop like, oh yeah, another bum fight. Oh, just let them kill each other. We won't have to do any paperwork. We won't have to arrest his ass. You know what I mean? Oh, the guy barking is fighting with the fucking lanky meth head with the fucking chiseled abs. Looks like an Abercrombie model. It's been fasting for 3 weeks. Just tweaking. Fucking doing sit-ups under the bridge. Jesus Christ, man. But I mean, it's embarrassing. And then especially if you're having a friend over from another country to America, trying to show them around like I was with Daisuke and Yuka. It's just so embarrassing. And I feel so bad for like putting them in danger. I tell this story all the time. I probably told it on the podcast, but I did, Ireland to Japan. I was gone for a year, came back. First day I had both my bags. I had like a big Osprey on my back and a North Face on my front. And they're heavy, I was carrying a lot of stuff. And get off the metro in Atlanta, we call it MARTA, and, walk off the platform, go up the elevator, start walking on the street. I think it's Peachtree Street in Atlanta. And first interaction with an American back in America after a year, a homeless guy sees me, sprints across the street, pushes me to the ground. He's like, "That's right, motherfucker," and just runs away. No context, nothing. There was like some like civil servant or like I guess like they're cleaning the streets or taking out the I don't know. They were just like government employees standing nearby. They just kind of laughed like, "That's awesome." They didn't think anything of it. They just laughed and just continued about their day. And this is what I mean. Like the violence is so commonplace. What can you even do? Like how could I have possibly prevented that other than just, taking a $120 Uber from the airport to my doorstep? I mean, that's the only solution that I see. You know what I mean? I mean, because if you're taking public transit, and again, this comes back to the pedestrian thing. It's like, yes, we don't have public transit, but do we want it? Do we actually want public transit? Because in Atlanta, I can say confidently, I don't want to get on the public transit in Atlanta. I don't want to step foot on it. In DC, I was living there around the same time I was robbed in Colombia. So I was like super, super vigilant, very high alert all the time for dangers around me. And I got to say, they're everywhere. Like there's no mitigating your risk when you live in an American city. There is no getting around it. It's just going to be dangerous. It's just going to be dangerous unless you want to fucking shield yourself in an Uber. Do you want to Uber everywhere? Do you not want to like be around people, right? Do you just want to be around your friends who you vetted and shit? Like, I don't know. It's just a very disgraceful. I don't know. I'm trying to be funny, but I really feel strongly that like it's just fucking embarrassing. It just is. Like we're supposed to be the number one country in the world. We can't even have. First of all, we can't even have public transit, and second of all, even if we had it readily available around the country, even if it was comfortable, even if it was accessible to be a pedestrian, would we feel safe being pedestrians? The answer is no. The answer is no. Like it comes back to the individualism. It's like we're individuals. We drive in our cars. We go on road trips by ourselves. We don't want to see people. We want to put it in our GPS. We don't want to ask for directions. We don't want to get out of the car unless we have to, unless we know it's a reputable chain of Wendy's or McDonald's or Subway or fucking Love's. We're not the kind of people that have any sense of collectivity on a societal level. Hence the people speaking on speakerphone, right? Everyone's siloed into their communities. Everyone is siloed into their own way of thinking, right? Like imagine an American in your head right now. What even is an American? What does that even mean? What does that mean? There is no answer to the question. You have to ask 4 more follow-up questions. Where do they live? You know what I mean? Like that's a first one. Where do they live? Because we have so many different fucking. It's just a mess here, guys. It's a mess. All right, let's move on. What's next? Next thing I have on my list is homelessness, and a lot of these are going to be intertwined with one another. Like the homelessness is related to not being comfortable being a pedestrian. It is related to the individualism. It is related to not having safe cities. But like the homelessness is insane in this country. Even if you live in like a smaller city, there's going to be homelessness. Even if you live in like a town. Like Sarah's family is from like a town, a suburb of Atlanta that you would never expect to see homeless people. There's homeless people there. Hanging out at bus stops, hanging out outside the Target type shit. Like, Ari Shaffir said this once, but the price of living in somewhere interesting in America, the price of living in an interesting place in America is homelessness. If you want to live in an interesting city, there will be homelessness, and there will be a lot of it. New York, LA, Austin, Seattle has a crazy homeless problem. Portland, crazy amounts of homelessness. And I'm not saying I know what to do about it. I actually haven't a fucking clue. I haven't a fucking clue. All I can do is look at it and say, well, I like this. I don't like this. And I don't like the homeless situation in America. I think we should round them up in camps and, lead group exercises until people start dying. You know what I mean?
Attention campers, lunch has been canceled today due to lack of hustle. Deal with it.
I think we need to, take some action. I don't know what it is. It must be like mental health facilities. We need to like build more of them or something. I don't know. I'm not sure. That's not what I'm here for. That's not my level of expertise. I am but a small brain American. I commentate on what I see, and that's all. That's all we're going to do. I'm not going to go beyond that because I really don't know the fix. But all I know is even in smaller cities in America, the homelessness is at an embarrassing level. Like, why can we not take care of our people? Why are they ending up like this? Do they want to be like that? Do they not want jobs? I don't know. It depends on the homeless person. I know I met people in Asheville, North Carolina, who sure as shit wanted to be homeless. They did not want jobs. They didn't want to be sober. They had bad relationships with their family. They wanted to be on the street. I filmed a video about it years back. It was like one of the first videos on my channel. It was like drinking with homeless people. No. It was the one after that. That was what is it? Why Are You Homeless? It was kind of a cringe. I was trying to do like a heartfelt fucking, like I was trying to copy like Indigo Traveler back in the day. Didn't turn out well, but that's what it was. And I went around asking people, and a lot of them had sob stories, and I'm sure a lot of them are true. But there is, you have to admit, there is a portion of homeless people that they want to be homeless. And of course, there's people that are homeless that don't want to be homeless, that maybe their house burned down or whatever. Or they had a falling out with a family member. I think it's good to have compassion for those people. But also, you have to realize some of them want to be on the street, man. So I don't know what the problem... I know what the problem is. I don't know what the solution is. Let's leave that to the fucking smarter minds in the room, not me. But it's just... it's a huge separation between us and the other developed nations. I'm sure Canada's the same way with the homelessness. I heard Vancouver's pretty bad. Seattle's insane. I remember I was in Seattle in 2020, and they had a whole like block of homeless people. They gave them porta potties. They gave them all these resources. I think it was Portland. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Portland. They built them houses, rent free. You know what I mean? I think you just had to be sober. They built them houses, and I feel like obviously that's good if you are not choosing to be homeless and you're down in your luck and you need that. But obviously people are going to take advantage and whatever. I don't know. It's a very complicated situation, but all I can say is it's fucking embarrassing and it makes me uncomfortable. I don't want the trade-off to be live in an interesting place, have to deal with homelessness. I don't think that's necessary. You can live in Dubai, no homelessness. I think I've never been. You could live in fucking Tokyo, extremely low levels of homelessness. I don't know, man. It's something about the West. I think it's that independent mindedness. Maybe we don't want to help each other. Maybe we don't want to have like social welfare programs. I don't really know. But all I can say is I don't like it. It makes me uncomfortable. And I wish we could do something about it because it makes like choosing a place to live in America quite challenging. If you want accessibility, if you want a good airport, if you want low homelessness and low crime, that's a very hard equation to get right. And I feel like it's damn near impossible in America. So anyways, let's see. Yeah, I feel like in America, our politics are all over the place. Again, the individualism. I think that's a common thread that's going to run through all these issues, is that some people feel a little too comfortable speaking their mind. I know we have freedom of expression. I know we have the First Amendment. I love all that. But I think some people should just simply shut the fuck up. I think they shouldn't voice their opinion. I think some opinions are bad. Some opinions are just purely wrong. Flat Earth, for example. I'm pretty sure that started in America. I'm pretty sure that was like some Reddit fucks. And all these sites, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, WhatsApp, fucking Apple, Tesla, all these great tech companies that have led the charge into the 21st century came from America. They came from one region of America. And that's writing all the AI scripts, fucking ChatGPT, OpenAI, crypto. I think crypto was actually Japan. Satoshi, I think, was Japanese. Allegedly. I don't know. We don't know who he was. But it's a pro and con, right? We get these lunatics that are forward thinkers. Oh, we're going to make electric cars accessible for everybody. We're going to, have in-home batteries. We're going to have solar panels on your roof. We're going to have, the most cutting edge tech products. We're going to have lightweight, whatever the fuck, phones and tablets and watches. I think it's that same kind of ego maniacal behavior that lets us have great innovations, but it also makes us fucking insane and we're at each other's throats. And, I traveled around the country during COVID. I left on July 5th, 2020, because I was just sick of being inside. Wearing a mask scared me. I was tired of being afraid. I just wanted to travel. So I just started driving, went to national parks, camping. This was before I started the YouTube channel, before I had the guts. I actually started on TikTok, uploading shorts on there. And now I'm afraid you're going to go look at those. They're bad. Don't go look at my TikTok. It's when I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. But it was a good way to start on social media. But yeah, I was just driving around the country, solo camping, stealth camping, and stuff like that. Actually, I think that was my first TikTok. I set up my tent in a public park in Montana, and the cops came. What the fuck was my point? Jesus Christ. Jesus, what was my point? I totally fucking forgot what I was talking about. I set up my tent. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I traveled around the country during the pandemic, and I realized after kind of sampling every state that I went through, I went through Louisiana, Mississippi, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, Montana, Washington, Oregon, California. Just kind of sampling all those states along the way, everybody was convinced that they were right about COVID. Everybody. People in Texas were like, we need to open the schools. We don't need the fucking vaccine, whatever. We're going to go back as soon as we can, open them up. We're going to the bars and we're meeting people. Arizona was the same way because people out there have this kind of Western frontier mentality. They lived near the Grand Canyon. They never saw people. They had very small, tightly knit communities. They don't need to fucking social distance. They don't need to stop doing what they're doing. They're already social distance the way they see it. Same in Montana. But then people in, Seattle, Oregon, LA, tighter population densities, they were terrified of COVID. I remember I was walking on the sidewalk and this guy was coming towards me and he's like, can you go to the other sidewalk? And I was like, my boy, we're outside right now. Are you good? You're in your 30s, you're exercising. I think you're good, but all right, I'm just going to go, whatever. It's up to you, but everybody I met, every single person was convinced that they were right about COVID. And I'm not trying to take a stance here. I'm just saying this is something that I observed is just there is so much social fragmentation depending on where you go that it's impossible to get a clear read on how Americans actually feel about stuff. You know what I mean? Except for Israel-Palestine. I feel like we've kind of reached a consensus on that, and somehow our lawmakers have not. But that's neither here nor there. That's not why you're listening to this. And to my point of America's too political, people just run their fucking mouths. I don't need to know that you've had 4 boosters. I didn't ask. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Please don't tell me. Please don't just bring up who you voted for. I'm not asking you. I'm not interested, actually. I'm not interested because I feel like I can get along with most people. And then when they make me take a stance on something politically, that's when I start to alienate people. And I'm like, why did we have to do that? Why did we have to do that? And maybe you're saying to yourself right now, Connor, that's what you've been doing this whole podcast. You've been taking a stance on certain issues. Well, it's a fucking podcast, all right? You're choosing to listen to me, all right? I guess you find what I'm saying interesting. Unless you're clicking off the video right now. But everybody just wants to get on their soapbox in America. Everybody. And I think that's why the podcast revolution happened here. People like Mark Maron, Joe Rogan, you name it. It happened in America. The iPod was invented in America. Hence the name podcasts. It was a broadcast for your iPod. It happened here. There's a reason we have all the creative juices flowing over here. And there's also a reason why we all fucking hate each other. That's why. It's the individualism. It's the idea that you can express yourself. It's all interrelated, guys. And that's why I feel like you can't just say that things are bad and that you should get rid of things. I mean, the homelessness is one thing where I feel like, Jesus Christ, like, can we please just fix that? But I understand there's like some social undercurrents happening to, make it that way. I get it. But I just feel like it would be nice to not hate each other. You know what I mean? It would be nice to not be obligated to take a stance on things. You know what I mean? That would be nice. That would be great. Yeah. All right. Enough about politics. The next thing is self-loathing. I feel like there's a lot of self-loathing Americans that they're embarrassed to be American, especially when they go abroad and they start listing off the things that I'm saying to you right now. I'm assuming most of you are American, so I'm speaking as if you were American. But I would usually not speak this openly about America with, a British person, or maybe Brits, maybe, but definitely not a French person, not a Belgian person, for sure not a German, because they're the first to jump on our backs with our issues. I wouldn't say this to a Dutch person. Italians, yeah, they're cool. I don't know. I hope I'm not alienating anybody, but this is kind of like inside baseball shit. Like, this is kind of the stuff that you don't want to air out in public at a hostile bar, right? I mentioned in a podcast before, like the fucking 18-year-old Germans arguing constitutional law and like gun control policy while we're doing Jello shots. It's just like, it's inappropriate. It's not the time to do it. Know your audience, guys. There's a time and a place for everything. And certainly you should not be bringing up school shootings and abortion and gay marriage when we are, 6 Jello shots deep at a hostile bar. I find that wholly inappropriate. I feel like even the most unreasonable person, even the most left-leaning German person could agree that is not cool, all right? And there needs to be no more of it. Because it happens all the time. But you'll find these Americans in, hostile bars, for example, or whatever. Wherever you are, you'll find them, especially in Western Europe. They'll go to Western Europe and be like, oh, it's so walkable. Why can't we? And then they'll just start having these kind of conversations in public with Europeans, and they'll start bashing America. And they'll be like, yeah, by the way, why don't you have why can't you get an abortion in Texas? And I'm like, my guy, I'm not asking for your opinion. I don't know. I just think it opens the floodgates for like too much criticism, and I just don't want to hear it from Europeans. And I'm realizing as I'm saying this, how ironic and backwards it is that I've made a whole video basically lecturing the greatest country in the world about what it can improve upon. And then at the end, I'm saying, man, I don't like how Americans criticize America. But it's just the time and the place, guys. It's you got time and place. Nobody wants to hear the American girl in the fucking hostel talking about healthcare and abortion. I'm sorry. We just don't want to. Like, tell me about the hike you did today. Tell me about the fucking photo you took of the sunset. Tell me about, meeting the drunk salaryman on your way home at 2 a.m. last night. Like, tell me about anything else. Like, you're going to bring politics into this, like, beautiful, like, pure travel environment, and you're going to use it as a chance to, like, dunk on your country in front of these fucking foreigners. Yeah, again, it's ironic that I'm bringing this up, especially at the end. But it's okay. No one's watching anymore. You've all clicked off the video by now. So if you are still watching, make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you join the Patreon, guys. We have uncensored travel stuff over there. You can see all the videos I post on the main channel early, uncensored. There's exclusive videos over there. I'm doing some merch giveaways lately, and we have a lot of fun over there. And let me just check my list again. Okay, that's it. That's all I have to say about America. America, I'm sorry. I love you. I live here. I'm going to die here. You are the best country on earth. But let's admit we have some problems. You know what I mean? Let's admit we have some problems. All right. See you in the next one. Bye-bye.